I'm Glenn Hicks. After years of budget debate and public outreach, the fate of some local schools...
Veteran journalist Glenn Hicks has spent the past 12 years behind the mic at The Goat and Juice FM, covering local news in the area after moving here sight unseen from London.
So we've been working at the BBC for a couple of years, and my wife sent me an internal email across the internal messaging system. She was at International Business on TV. I was at the BBC World Service on radio. And she said, time for a change. And I said, okay, cool, take a look around. So she looked, she typed in best small town in Canada. Just ridiculous, because I was born in Canada, but I left at the age of 5. Hadn't been back to Canada ever, not on holiday, not to work, didn't know anyone in Canada. And she said, oh, look, I found this place called Nelson. And she sent me the website, and there was a picture of the Orange Bridge and the beach. And I said, well, it's called British Columbia. British, they must speak English there. It looks civilized. Of course, we were just joking and having this laugh over the internet with each other. And 6 weeks later, we sold the house, sold the cars, bought a one-way ticket, flew into Castlegar. Dennis, my buddy in Nelson, was driving the Queen City limo at Castlegar Airport, jumps in, drives us to Nelson, and we've been here ever since, and he's my best buddy.
The Nelson area was quite the jump over the pond from their home in London. For the young family, they only had one goal: to reinvent themselves in small-town BC.
You know, we arrive with absolutely no expectations. You get to that stage in your life where you have a young daughter to raise, you're looking for a really nice, safe, fantastic-looking place, and it seemed okay from the literature we read. And I lie a little. I mean, I then, because I'm a journalist, I then started reaching out and using the internet and tracked people down I'd never heard of in Nelson. One of them was the CBC reporter, Bob Keating, and I sent him an email that's now a famous email. I said, you've got no idea who I am, but as a fellow journalist from the BBC, I'm going to ask you 20 questions. As a fellow journalist, you better answer them truthfully. So he did. And I bombarded him with questions about the Kootenays and Nelson and where's this and where's that and what's it like and do they have stores and nice people there and do you have recreation facilities? And he answered my 20 questions. So that was a great breakthrough. I said, oh, okay, Bob, I'll look you up when I get to town. And the day after I arrived, I rang him up and said, I'm the dude who sent you the 20 questions on email a couple of weeks ago. And he laughed and he invited me around for a barbecue. Anyway, we got here, no expectation. I mean, I thought if I have to buy a business, I will.
Hicks ended up knocking on the door of the former BK radio station, now the Goat FM, and has been covering local news ever since. While it was a leap going from covering world news to local small-town stories, for him what he enjoyed the most was the local politics and the people.
Castlegar Council, Trail Council, Nelson Council, Grand Forks, Ross, and I like those folks. You know why I like it? Because, and with absolute respect to them, they're not highbrow professional politicians. These are small municipalities that are with genuine people around the table, the mayor and the councillors who are doing their absolute best for their community and sometimes faced with difficult challenges, budgetary challenges, big issues to deal with, sometimes disastrous issues. I love dealing with them because they're genuine, non-professional politicians who often have another job, are dedicating so many volunteer hours into what they do. So I love handling that. I really do enjoy the council beats. I like talking to emergency services, local police people who are, again, handling difficult situations in small towns. I think the healthcare debate is solid and fascinating. I know, for example, that we're about to embark on hopefully some serious upgrades to the Kootenay-Boundary Regional Hospital. I think that's going to be very, very important without ignoring the important healthcare that's in other areas and needed in other areas.
While Hicks is stepping away from covering the news, he will remain in the area, hoping to pass on his knowledge to the younger generation as a teacher.
Yeah, I think many people who arrive at the decision of going into teaching late in life would hopefully want to bring life skills and life experiences and work experience to the party. But I have a very idealistic position on this, and that is that I'm fully aware that we are now in a world saturated by social media, handheld devices, the internet, at the digital realm, and of course that's a modern part of modern education as well. But I so desperately want to make sure that young people don't lose the gift of conversation, presentation, face-to-face engagement, debate, argument. I think those are so important. Writing for the spoken word, learning how to use all the communication elements.
Tigers face the Seattle Mariners in the third game of a fourth.
For Go in Nelson, I'm Jennifer Waldy.
Of their past 10 games. I'm Glenn Hicks.